This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.
A great meeting coming up in Melton on Saturday night. It is Legends Night with some of the best pacers in Victoria going around. It's amazing how fast the pink rinse has come out of Jason Bonnington's hair, because he's next up with the preview for Melton on Saturday night. Jason losing a bet recently with Gareth, and he was meant to dye his hair pink, but looks like he's welched on the bet. Hello to you, Jason.
Thanks for the fantastic introduction there, Hazy. Look, it must have been a semi-permanent rinse. I couldn't quite keep it in there all the way, but unfortunately, no pink hair today, but hopefully at a preordained time I might have to come out. I'm not a welcher. No welcher here.
Well, mate, you get us into this preview. Fantastic meeting coming up at Melton on Saturday night, and there look to be a couple of good things on the program, especially in the first.
Yeah, I'm very, very keen. I think it's a super program of racing, but it's also a super punting program for mine, and I am very keen. My best bet does come up in the first race in the program, race 1, number 1, Good Time Jasper. This bloke has been very, very good. He won first up for Emma Stewart, and then he was close up in some very strong Metropolitan affairs, went back a class and defeated them comfortably last time out at country level. Back to the Metropolitan racing from the pole marking draw. A quick beginner should be leading, and I think he'll be leading all the way in this heat of the Gordon Rothicke Memorial Championship. Salzmo's also been terrific in his last 5 or 6 starts. He looked like he was just going to rifle through the grades. Looked like a killing machine there for a little while. Hit a bit of a snag against some real big guns like Hugo Play recently through the Tabcorp Park Melton Pace Series, but he's still a very, very good horse. I think he'll sit parked and acquit himself very well. Lombo Flashlight gets the draw, probably better known as a grinder, but he'll get in behind Good Time Jasper, hopefully from the inside second line draw, and from there he's a great hope of running a place at least. And Timeless Errors of Sun Rajovic, that have been doing most of his racing at Globe Derby of recent times, but has great figure form line, and if he slots a nice spot in transit from the nice favourable front line draw, I think he can run 3rd or 4th as well, so include him in your multiple wagers.
Okay, so pretty keen on the one in the first event. Let's have a look at race number 2.
Yeah, race number 2, this is a trickier race, no doubt about it. Across the 10-race program, this is probably one of the hardest of the night, so don't get too aggressive here. I've gone with number 10, Sterling Point, and we're going through that Tabcorp Park Melton Pace Series again. He was an impressive heat winner, came from the clouds from nowhere to blouse many people when he ran down Salzmo and co. Hugo Play also in that event, 2 starts back. Just couldn't get into the final of that series, unfortunately, last time out, also at this course, Tabcorp Park Melton, but did run on stoutly, and I think was good enough there to suggest that dropping down in grade here, it's still an M1, but I think most of these horses are either out of form. It's a virtual claimer, to be honest, so even from the second line draw, if he gets any sort of cut into the race, I think number 10, Sterling Point, should be good each way value and the way to play. Dominus Verbiscum's dropping any amount of grades here. He's got what Dan Malecki would call the OO form next to his name, 0-0-0 and a 9th before that, but geez, been racing in much better class, taking on horses like a Better Punt and Bitter Bliss of recent times. A Better Punt going around in the Newcastle Mile and Bitter Bliss going around in the Legends later in the program at Melton. So much better form lines, and I think he can lead from gate 2, so give him a huge hope. Jaden's Castle is the other terrific beginner drawn off the front line. He'll be having a dip for the front as well, and has been going okay of late in claiming grade. And King of Paradise is an interesting runner, drawn the pole, trolled well recently against some big guns, Eura Nut and co at Tabcorp Park Melton, and does have talent on his day. If he gets in behind Dominus Verbiscum early, he can also run a place for you at odds in race 2.
So 10, 2, 5 and 1 in race number 2. Let's have a look at race number 3 now, Jason, this one for the Trotters.
Yeah, I've gone with number 4, Gluteus Major here. Terrifically even race. It seems race 3 on the program at Tabcorp Park Melton, be it on a Friday night or a Saturday night, is earmarked for these square gating races, and they're always very difficult affairs, but I think despite it being an even race, Gluteus Major does look the one. Has 3 silver medals next to his name, 3 second placings in a row. Last start split they Wanna Call Me Sue and Michael Thomas in the Naya Trotters Cup, so excellent form for a race of this nature. And his run prior, which we might get a look at here in the Yield Boko Trot, was very, very good. He worked his way to the front. You can see him there on screen. He drew similarly this night from the mobile start, worked his way to the front and held on till very, very late in the piece. He just kept kicking along the inside. They were charging at him late, and only one of them ended up running him down. I believe it was Michael Thomas, who's out wide there, so he was very brave on this occasion. It was a much stronger race, even though it was a similar class of race. It was a much stronger race in terms of depth than what he'll meet tonight. So I think he does look the one. You can see him clinging on here. He's worked pretty hard to find the front in this race, and he's only been mowed down by a very, very good horse in Michael Thomas, who's subsequently gone on to win the Maryborough Trotters Cup. So he's a clear on top tip for me in race 3 at Melton Gluteus Major. The next couple, Salute the Wind and I'm Going to Do Good, primarily because of their good draws. I've thrown them in. Salute the Wind has done most of his racing from the standing start of recent times, but back to the mobile. He hasn't had a lot of luck in recent times, and his last start was better than it looked. He's definitely worth including, a real favourite of mine. I'm Going to Do Good gets the services of Greg Sugars, a good beginner. I think he'll be behind the leader or 3 pegs at very, very worst. So he's going to be in the right spot to run a placing as well. And Monsieur Deville, I've been on him his last 3 starts. He hasn't made an impression so far this campaign, but I'm not going to hop off when he goes up and runs a place or maybe even wins at big odds. So make sure you throw number 5, Monsieur Deville, into your wider exotic wagers.
What about race number 4? Now, this is the second heat of the Gordon Rothacker. The first race was the first heat. What have you come up with in the 4th event?
Emma Stewart again. So we've got Good Time Jasper in race 1. This is another special for mine. Metro Mike. I've got a massive, massive opinion of this horse. I thought he was luckless. Well, it was surprisingly beaten actually 2 starts back when Jazz King, who was low flying at the time, parked outside of him and drilled him, but there was nothing really wrong with the run. They flew home on that occasion, and he sandwiched that with 2 very impressive wins. One when rifling home from well back, and last start he went up and sat parked outside our Nancy Moles, who he faces again tonight, and was just too tough and too strong. I think he can race anywhere here and still be too good. I expect him to go back at the start and just overwhelm his rivals with his dazzling turn of foot. So Metro Mike, the clear on top selections and one of 3 specials on the program. Number 8, Road to Rock, and number 1, Our Call of Duty. I thought they were the major dangers. Both of them primarily sit sprinters. Our Call of Duty was very, very good last start. His best run in some time, running second to Stable Mate. Give us a grin here at Tabcorp Park, Melton. And Road to Rock is a horse who needs plenty to go right for him, but he is an ambush artist by nature. He's a peg line bandit, likes to sit inside other horses, get a real cosy run and then hopefully run them down. He'll get that run from inside the second line tonight. So both of those horses, great place chances behind Metro Mike. And our Nancy Moles, I wouldn't be surprised if she is the second best horse in the race. Obviously drawn very, very awkwardly, but I know Team Sugars has a reasonably big opinion of her. She can do work in her races, so even from outside the second line, if she can get up outside them without spending too much petrol, she's another big chance for your trifectas and first fours.
5, 8, 1 and 11 in race number 4. What are you doing in race number 5?
Well, you'd think that Chancellor Cullen's a moral, wouldn't you? Ran second in the City of Melton Plate, then went on to run second again in the Nia Pacing Cup, at Swan Hill, and won the Kilmore Cup, and probably should be in the Legends. You would have expected, certainly he would have gone into the feature race tonight. Probably one of the best 3 or 4 horses racing in Victoria at the moment. So an absolute star in the making if he's not already one. But he has drawn outside the front line, isn't overly quick from the mobile, and he does face some pretty stiff opposition here. So I'm still going to go with Chancellor Cullen. He's clearly a class commodity, and as I say, he would have probably been $3 or $4 depending on the draw in the Legends later in the program, the Group 2 feature. So you'd think that he'd have the free-for-all here at only $16,000 at his mercy, but he has got a couple of things against him. Still the clear on-top selection. Hugo Play, number 1, has made an enormous impression since being recruited over here from Tasmania, and did comfortably win the Tabcorp Park Melton Pace Final after sitting parked last time. A real brutal enforcer. The Gate 1 draw not ideal for him, not a brilliant beginner, but if Lance Justice can get him off the pegs and stay in front of Chancellor Cullen, he can upset the apple cart. Cut for an Ace has been going very, very well for some time. Won the Claiming Masters final and was outstanding in the Maryborough Trotters Cup last time. Has gone from Alan Tubbs to Jeff Webster, but just continues to improve. So if they go very, very quick early, he's a winning hope as well. And Born Again Sassy's won at maybe 15 or 20 to 1. Drawn Gate 2 ran third in the Popular Arms Sprint a couple of starts back, and I think if she can get across Hugo Play early and hand up to either Hugo Play or Chancellor Cullen, very, very big odds at that $15 or $20 quote that I expect her to come up at tomorrow night at Melton.
7, 1, 9 and 2 in race number 5. What about race number 6 at Melton?
This is another tricky race. We've got 2 sit sprint specialists here, drawn 1 and 8, which is where they want to be in La Machan and Stylish Jasper. The tricky part of the race is working out who La Machan will try and hand up to here. because she's not really a leading type, always does her best racing when she gets a cold sit in behind the leader or 3 pegs. Of course, she won the Vicbred Super Series final for 4-year-old mares late last season, blousing Real Bonus on the line when racing 3 pegs. She'll be 1 horse closer, I'd expect, tonight. But who she hands up to, it could be any of number 2, Qatari Roland, 3, Artok, or 4, Astronaut. I'm going to take a punt that Qatari Roland's going to be able to hold the other 2 wide early on and cross over to take the front. If he does, I think he's the one to beat. He's a very smart horse in his day, Qatari Roland. Always races his best when able to find the front. Probably headed for some of the mid-range country cups this season. So if he can find the front, I think he's the one to beat. No doubt that number 1, La Machine, is the one to anchor your exotics around, because I can't see her finishing worse than top 3 if she gets that cosy run we expect behind the leader. Stylish Jasper absolutely rattles when she gets a really cold run in transit. She'll be 3 back to pegs, I'd expect, and she could finish dead level or even run past La Machine, such as her dazzling turn of foot over 200 or 300 metres. So make sure you include her in all of your exotic thoughts. And Alchemy, look, he's a little bit hot and cold sometimes. I think he races best in front. I know Lance Justice thinks he races best with a sit. He'll have to race with a sit here, but if he gets a card into it tonight, he'll be finishing on stoutly too. But in what could be a peg-dominated affair, I'm going with 2 ahead of 1, 8 and 10.
2, 1, 8 and 10 on that event. Let's have a look at the next. It's the big one of the night, the Legends, and the barrier draw has made this one very, very interesting, Jace.
I think I've spent 2 or 3 hours on this race alone trying to work out what might happen, Hazy, and I could still be wrong. Look, there's about 12 or 15 different scenarios that could happen after the start, which is very rare for a feature harness race. Normally you can plot the map fairly well. Here's the Legends Mile fixed odds with TAB. Restrepo, your $2.25 favourite. I think he deserves to be favourite. He's my on-top selection, but that's too short for mine. Bitter Bliss looked nigh on unbeatable, looked invincible prior to going under in the Kilmore Pacing Cup last start. I think he's worth forgiving there. He's $3.40. Smoking Up. Look, I actually can't see him winning from outside the second line after going down when finding the front in the Popular Arm Sprint. He's $4.80 out to $5.50 on fixed odds. Mustang Mac gets the pole marking draw and has been in very good form at its past couple at $8. Then you're out to double figures with Mel Park Major, who's won the race twice, Wartime Sweetheart, and Catch Your Breath, who's been a firmer $31 into $18 with your fixed odds. We're going to go and have a look at a replay now of the Naya Pacing Cup at Swan Hill. This is Restrepo we're seeing pulling 3 wide now on the back of a bet or punt. Heading to the front is Chancellor Cullen, who we've got winning an earlier race in the program. He finds the front here, Chancellor Cullen. He's worked pretty hard. So is a bet or punt, who's in the Newcastle Mile tomorrow night. And Restrepo pulls out here. Unbelievably, they went home in 54.8 seconds here. Absolutely low flying, and Restrepo's made up 10 or 12 metres in the last 200 metres. He's just got an incredible turn of foot. He is arguably the quickest pacer in Victoria. Maybe Bitter Bliss would have something to say about that, but if he can get a nice card into things tonight, I'm not sure they'll be able to hold him out. Number 4, Restrepo, a very exciting commodity, and my top tip in the Legends Mile at Tabcorp Park, Melton. I'm forgiving Bitter Bliss for his Kilmore Pacing Cup failure, although if he doesn't go well tonight, we might have to put him down as a fresh horse at best. But as I say, I'm willing to forgive him, and if he gets some sort of run into it from inside the back line, he's also a big winning hope. Catch Your Breath was outstanding in the Popular Arm Sprint, beating most of these at Kilmore last time out. I give him a huge hope of finding the front here, and if he does, he'll be terrifically difficult to beat. The $31 into 18, also a promising sign on TAB fixed odds. And Mustang Mac, also, as I said earlier, been terrific at his past couple, 3rd in the Kilmore Pacing Cup, 6th prior to that after working devilishly hard on the run. So he must be included among your thoughts. And if you're having a bet, I'd stick with the bottom 2 there, 7 Catch Your Breath and 1 Mustang Mac, both from the Dean Braun barn at pretty good odds.
We're going to have a look at race 8 at Melton. That is the Melton Trot. Jason, what have you got for us in the 8th?
I think pretty clear cut here, Hazy. The 2 stablemates should be fighting this out. My high expectations, an outstanding prospect, maybe Victoria's best square gator, we may find out over the next few weeks. Number 6, if he can forge his way to the front, I think he'll be too good. Number 6, the stablemate Cold Sister will find the pegs first. I think she's the major danger, probably the only danger. Number 2, another David Aiken train runner, Brile and Crescent. You can throw it in for 3rd. And then Michael Thomas, who's been in terrific form but draws a little awkwardly inside the second line for 4th.
So that's race number 8, the Legends Trot. Let's move through to race number 9. What do you like here?
I've gone with Our Burning Desire here for Ross and Greg Sugars. This is a heat into final affair. We like to see the horses who win the heats coming into the finals, and this was Our Burning Desire was one of those, was the quickest of the heat winners and by far the stronger of the two heat winners. Gets the pole marking draw, looks almost certain to lead. There's no obvious pressure in the race either. She's the third of your three specials along with Good Time Jasper and Metro Mike. Our Summer Win was the other heat winner. He's got plenty of talent, but he needs a few things to go his way. He's a sit sprint specialist, and I'm not sure he'll get things run to suit, but he should still run a placing here. Western Gretel number 2 is an honest campaigner, as is number 7. They'll both want to work forward in the run. They're both tough customers. Unlikely to win, but worth throwing in your exotic wagers.
1, 6, 2 and 7, and the last event, a C2 to C4 event over the short trip.
This could be the end of the love affair between Our Bella Bro and I. Been a very difficult horse for me to follow over the last few weeks, but I give her one more chance here. Loves the short course trip to 17.20, and I can see her bullying her way to the front here after a bit of a babe gets there first. So I'm going with number 5, Our Bella Bro, to find the front and hold her rivals off in the last event on the card. Bit of a babe, as I mentioned, should be in behind the leader. That's where she loves to be. I think she's a great chance of running top 2. Hexham Heartbeat's a former Group 1 winner, is a 3-year-old filly who has to be given some sort of chance despite the wide draw. And Paintball's also pretty talented, although she'll be wanting to get off the pegs pretty early. She's more of a tough customer than a sit sprinter, number 8, Paintball.
5, 3, 7 and 8 in that last event. Have you got some best bets for us over the program?
I've got those 3, but I'm going to nominate race 1, number 1, Good Time Jasper, as your best bet in the program. It's always nice to pick up some cash early in the card, and I think we can do it at Tabcorp Park, Melton, tomorrow night. And in terms of a value bet, I'm sticking, as I said, with Our Bella Bro for one more run. This could be the end of the affair if she doesn't get up for me or us tomorrow night at Melton. But race 10, number 3, Our Bella Bro, I think she can find the front and win once she does.
What about your quaddie? What have you got?
And I'm going to go skinny with the quaddie. 5 in the first leg, Metro Mike. 1 and 7 for the second leg. Play a little wider. 1, 2, 4, 8, 10 in the third leg. And 1, 4, 7, 8 in the Legends. $40 will get you 100%, and I'm pretty confident we'll get the job done.
Good on you, Jason. You enjoy a Legends night at Melton on Saturday.
Cheers, Hazy.
And there he is, Jason Bonnington from Harness Racing Victoria, with all the winners for Saturday night at Melton.
This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.